The international community struggles to get help into Haiti.
We were founded with a drive to help people on their worst days. Tested by Mother Nature. Strengthened through a commitment to service over self. In the biggest storms, in the smallest towns. For us, it's more than a mission. It's a mindset. Team Rubicon, built to serve. There are moments in life that define us. Little acts of kindness, sacrifice, being there for someone on their worst day. At Team Rubicon, we make those moments every day. It's why we serve, why we exist. Because moments like this mean everything.
Welcome to Homefront Sit Rep. I hope you're in for a great show today, because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find Homefront Sit Rep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Homefront Sit Rep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting. Welcome, everybody, to a Monday night edition of Homefront Sit Rep. How is everybody doing? Mr. James, how are you, sir?
I am wonderful, Molis.
Man, I tell you what, I saw you Saturday night when I was DJing that party for your friend's daughter there, or granddaughter, actually, right? Granddaughter. Yeah. And, this weekend we talked about last night on the podcast with Core Spice, how the weekend just flew by. It just like was blink of an eye and it was gone, man. I tell you what. So you had a pretty good weekend?
I can't complain. I'm in the process of trying to buy a house, so just running.
Yeah.
So
to be 53 years old and trying to buy a house, man. Oof. Gotta love it, man. Gotta love it. Yeah, and then, so let's reiterate to everybody who you are, since the people haven't seen you in a while.
I'm James Thornton. I'm a Army vet. My unit was responsible for the removal of the pinned down Rangers and Special Forces in Mogadishu, Somalia in 1993. They made a motion picture out of it called Black Hawk Down. I am now an ambassador for a great veteran service organization based out of Nashville, Tennessee, called Warrior Rounds. And in a nutshell, Warrior Rounds brings folks down to Nashville, and they put them in a room with an accomplished singer-songwriter. And that individual, that warrior, tells their story. And together with that accomplished singer-songwriter, they write a song. And we fast forward 6-7 weeks, and we have a free live concert. Right now, they're at the Hard Rock Cafe in downtown Nashville, where we present the story and the song to the world. And what I mean by accomplished, when I went down and did mine, I was with a gentleman by the name of Bobby E. Boyd. Well, a lot of folks don't know songwriters' names anymore, but if I say Bless the Broken Roads, that Rascal Flatts won a Grammy with, he was a co-writer of that song. So it's an awesome organization. They do some great stuff. So I uh, I got a big trailer. It's all decorated, and I just I travel around, spread the word about Warrior Rounds. I'm responsible with the help of the city of Shepherdsville, Kentucky. We're bringing the traveling Vietnam Wall. It's 360 feet long. It is an 80% replica of the original wall in D.C. We're going to bring it to Shepherdsville in July. I've been on a couple runs with it, Rushville, Indiana, and Parkersburg, West Virginia. So I'm going to be busy for a little bit.
Yeah, we're definitely going to be busy. That's for sure. So, but anywho, everybody. So James is back. He's co-hosting with me tonight, and I tell you what, we're in for a great show tonight. I believe because we got an Air Force veteran who volunteers. If you look at the beginning of the show, the Team Rubicon commercials. So we're going to bring up Mr. Kevin Ryan from Team Rubicon. How are you, sir?
Great. How you guys doing?
Doing
Man, we're
well, thank
doing
you.
wonderful. How was your weekend?
Good. The snow, I'm up in Wisconsin and the snow is melting, which is an awesome thing. Very
Wish we
early in the year for us to have snow melting, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I wish we had snow. I mean, I'm in Kentucky, northern Kentucky, and I love snow. I guess I need to move to Wisconsin or Montana, somewhere where there's snow year round.
See, that's why
That
you
would
should
be,
have been in the Army
yeah,
and then get stationed at Fort Drum. That statement would never come out your mouth.
no, I love snow. So, Kevin, let's tell our watchers, our listeners, a little bit about yourself, starting with your military, and then we'll go into where you're at now.
Sure. I spent 6 years in the Air Force. I was in a combat camera unit for the first 3 years. One of the events, we were in a pretty peaceful time period. The only big event we were involved with was Just Cause in Panama. And then I spent 3 years doing that. In my second 3 years, I was an instructor at Lowry Air Force Base. Got out of the Air Force, went to work for federal law enforcement. Spent 7.5 years doing that. And then the rest of my career with the feds, I spent with CDC in Atlanta, doing a bunch of different things. It's funny, I never deployed overseas with the military. But when I got to CDC, I deployed all the time, which I never thought that was going to be the case, that I would have deployed more with them than with the military.
Right. So when you said federal law enforcement, were you like FBI, border control?
I started with the Bureau of Prisons and worked for the Department of Justice at their training center for a while. They had an advanced Department of Justice training center in Denver. So we trained FBI agents, DOJ lawyers, Bureau of Prison staff. It's sort of the more advanced aspects of law enforcement. So all the basic training for law enforcement is down at FLETC in Georgia.
Okay.
So afterwards, when folks need to do sort of occupational training, they do it up in Denver.
Nice. So the only reason I ask that is my oldest daughter, Grace. She's a junior in high school right now, but she's in law enforcement classes, and she has been since she was a freshman. And her ultimate goal is to be an FBI agent.
Mm.
That's what she wants to do, and she wants to probably go into behavioral analysis or something of that nature. So that's why I was asking those questions.
Well, within the Department of Justice, it's definitely one of the better bureaus to be with, just on pay alone, because they do pay so much better starting out. A lot of INS, Border Patrol, Bureau of Prisons, marshals pays pretty low at the beginning. So
Yeah. Starting out. Well, I told her that her best option, her best route would go into the Air Force first, because a lot of FBI agents come from the Air Force. So I told her to go into, like security forces in the Air Force, go to college while she's doing that, because I talked to a former FBI agent, and they're like, look, they look for criminal justice degrees, but that's not what they prefer. They prefer somebody with a psychology degree or something of that nature. So I said, look, you can either go right out of high school, go into college, but join the Air Force Reserves. That way, the Air Force pays for your college while you're doing it for 4 years. You get out, you become an officer in the Air Force in the security forces that you want to go into. Once you get done with your term, then you can go into the FBI, and you'll be set for life.
Mm.
And she's like, Dad, you don't know what you're talking about. Of course, she's 17. Dad don't know what the hell he's talking
We
about.
never know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, but no, man, I love it. So, how did you find Team Rubicon, and what led you to Team Rubicon?
So the first time I even became aware of them was 5 years ago, watching an NFL game, and I saw one of the ads, and I was like, "Wow, that looks like a lot of fun." Um, and I think one of the things that really hit home with the ad was sort of the camaraderie aspect of being around military folks again. The first time I ever sort of felt that, I went when I was at CDC, very unmilitary like organization, other than the Emergency Operations Center. And everybody at CDC at some point has to do emergency response. It's just, because they just don't have enough staff in the EOC to do it. So
Right.
you get deployed there. And when I got deployed there, the regular staff, the full time staff, they're all ex military. And it was like, wow, this is like old home month again and again and again. And it kind of made me realize how much I missed that. So when I saw this ad, I was like, you know what? I just have a feeling this is going to be like that again. And it was. And ever since I've been involved with Team Rubicon, it's made me really appreciate being around a bunch of vets again. At the end of the day, you do hard work all day, but at the end of the day, you sit around, you have a couple cold ones, you tell stories, you BS.
Just like you did in the military.
Yeah, you tell lies. I mean, it's great. You really feel like you're back with a bunch of buddies again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing with veterans is, like I just met James about a year ago, and we hit it off from day one. And it's just something about being in the military, and then seeing another veteran, and just having that instant bond. We were talking about on another podcast where, like, if I was in a bar and I walked up to James and he said he was in the military, I would be glued by him all night long, just because he was in the military, because I know he's got my back and I got his back. That's just how it goes. And what I've seen of Team Rubicon, because I've been, watching Team Rubicon for a really long time, and unfortunately, I'm not at this stage in my life with having young daughters and stuff. I'm not able to volunteer like I want to, because I think it would be an amazing experience to go into, like places like Haiti, Ethiopia, and stuff like that. I think that would be something that I would really like to do, because for one, when I was in the Marine Corps, I traveled all over the place. I was in Haiti in '98. I believe I was in yeah, it was '98 when I was in Haiti. It was right when the government fell. We took over the bases down there, and we did a 3 month rotation down there. And then, I've been to Tunisia, Africa. I've been to the Middle East. I've been into the Mediterranean, Australia, Japan. So seeing all those places, um, you know, on the military side of things is a whole lot different than seeing it on the civilian side. And as a volunteer with Team Rubicon, you get to go to places like it, especially if there's a natural disaster, which is what Team Rubicon does. So, since the founding of Team Rubicon, how many, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Ops
yeah, how many ops has Team Rubicon done since 2010?
since 2010, 1100 plus.
1100. Now that's domestic and internationally.
Yeah, mostly domestic. And we do some international things for sure. Continue to. We were back in Haiti not too long ago, but a lot of domestic. And it's actually, yeah. And I like to travel too. Traveled a lot in my federal career, but this has been interesting because I'm seeing parts of the country I never thought I would see either, and obviously a lot of these things tend to happen more in the South.
Hmm.
And the scope of the disasters tend to be a little bit more severe in the Southeast, with the hurricanes.
Yeah.
Um, but I've gotten to deploy a lot and see a lot of the country I had never seen before. Got to meet a lot of people from a lot of different places.
Yeah, that's so you guys were, I think there was Team Rubicon that just went to Clarksville, Tennessee not too long ago because of the tornadoes that were there. And then there was Team Rubicon that was in Eastern Kentucky when we had the flooding of was it last year, the year before. So Team Rubicon does do, they get around a lot. So I just love their mission and what they stand for. Um, can when on a typical Team Rubicon deployment, how long are they, and what kind of steps do you have to go through to be um, qualified?
Yeah, it's actually really easy to sign up. There's just an orientation and a background check, but you can deploy before the background check is even done. And then it's really sort of up to you and what other training you want to do. So, one of the things that we do a lot of is cutting down trees on these operations. We've started really doing a lot of trail clearance, road clearance after big disasters. We've started deploying immediately with the FEMA folks and doing a lot of the road clearance for them. So we have a lot of Sawyers. So obviously, if that's something you want to do, we have training for it. That's more involved. But just going out on those and helping out, there's really not a whole lot of training that you have to go through. There's a lot of it that just happens on the job. And what's nice about it is, people that want to get dirty and really do hard work can do that. And people that want to do sort of more office type support things, we need that too. Because somebody, at the forward operating bases, we have to have people that prepare the meals. We have to have people that do the paperwork, get people out there, people that go door to door, talking to homeowners, seeing if they need our assistance, getting them to sign waivers. So it's really like the whole gamut, which I think is really cool because we have people that start out, and they want to do the Sawyer thing. They want to muck out basements, but they start getting into their 70s and they can't really do that anymore. And they want to stay involved. And we still have plenty of roles for them too. And then obviously a
Right.
lot of leadership roles. And so there's a lot more training that occurs when people get into the leadership positions, but it's not nearly as involved as anything we went through in the military. It's not like
Right.
going through 6 or 8 weeks of NCO training or advanced officer school or any of those kind of things. It's more like a day or 2 days, and then a lot of it happens on the job, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, on the job training is probably the best option for me. Like I could go to, a classroom setting, but for me, I learn better with hands-on. So so tell us who founded Team Rubicon.
So a guy named Jake Wood was the primary founder. It was his brainchild, which is interesting. So I'm in Madison, Wisconsin, and Jake actually played for the Badgers.
Nice.
And when he got out, he joined the Corps after 9/11. And then when he got out, he and a bunch of his Marine buddies just deployed themselves to Haiti to help out because there was an unmet need, and just said, "Wow, this is what he said. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life."
That's
And
awesome.
160,000 volunteers later, 13 years later, here we are.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the questions that I come up with. How many volunteers are within Team Rubicon? And you just answered it, 160,000. That's quite an astonishing number.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, and and the thing about veterans is we have that servant's heart. That's why we signed our name on that dotted line when we first joined the military. And for an organization like Team Rubicon that still builds that camaraderie that we had when we were in the military, how it translates over, and you got 160,000 volunteers. Now, another question that's going to be asked more than likely is Team Rubicon just strictly for veterans?
No. So we're a little over 60% veterans. 20 to 25% of the folks are first responders or retired first responders. And then the rest are just like-minded people who are what we call our kick-ass civilians. And what I've found is that um, it's an easy transition for them. A lot of them are really intimidated. Working around vets, working around ex-first responders, thinking, boy, can I really do this? That's what I hear from them all the time. Am I going to be able to do what these folks do? But they all after their first deployment, they're all like, oh my God, everybody was so accommodating. Everybody was so caring. They made it so easy for me. And people who aren't experienced with the military or first response learn quickly what the military and first response is about, which you mentioned earlier. It's having other people's back. It's, not bitching about what you're asked to do. It's just, putting your nose down and getting shit done. I mean,
Yeah.
that's our motto: get shit done.
Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. So if somebody, let's say, is disabled or has physical limitations, are they still able to volunteer?
Absolutely. So one of the things that I've been doing on some of the bigger operations, the last couple big hurricanes, is working in the Emergency Operations Center. So we'll either gear that up in Chicago or Dallas when bigger events go down that are going to last for weeks or months. And I mean, it's a pretty good sized cadre of staff. I mean, it's 50 to 100 people, depending on the size of the operation. And so, yeah, I mean, there's lots of people who have disabilities that, dig right in with the rest of us, because it's just, it's deploying an army. It's like the military, not nearly the size of, the military. But these ops, I mean, there's times Florida 2 years ago where we had like over 1,000 people a day out in the field, and getting that many people out there takes a lot of logistics
Oh
support,
yeah.
Sure it does.
obviously. Yeah, to make that happen. So, we need a lot of people who use their brain power to get folks out there. And it's very much like the military too, when you're in an emergency operations center, because it's long days. It's 12, 14-hour days, because until everybody gets in their rack at night, you've got to support those people.
Oh
You've got
yeah.
to make it easy for them to get their job done. So again, that's what I like about the organization. It's not just limited to um, one or two specific jobs. It's such a wide variety, which is very much like the military.
Yeah, yeah. It's where they kind of cross train you to do this, and then like in the Marine Corps, your primary MOS is a rifleman, but you might be a cook, or you might be an admin, you might be whatever, and that's so that I love how you wear many hats within the organization, and that's awesome.
Yeah,
What's going on, Rick?
absolutely.
Rick is saying hello. What's going on, Rick? So I'm gonna take this one more step with the volunteer thing. How does Team Rubicon take care of their volunteers? Like, so let's say James and I decided to volunteer. There's a hurricane down in Florida. What does Team Rubicon do for me and James to get us there?
Yeah, so we put out notices when we need folks to deploy through social media and direct emails for folks who are in the organization. And then once somebody's volunteers and has been accepted, somebody makes flight reservations, um, has pickup at the airport, takes you to the forward operating base, puts you up at the forward operating base, and that can be anything from tents or FEMA trailers to a high school gym or a church. It just depends, especially when you're dealing with an area where a hurricane has hit and a lot of the local area has been severely damaged. Um, you're fed throughout the day. Snacks are provided, water's provided. Our gray shirts, which is sort of our uniform with our name on the front, is provided. Really everything that you need to subsist on an operation. Again, very much like the military, everything's taken care of. You don't even have to think about it. Chow's at a certain time, and general lights out is at a certain time. But I think one of the things I like about it is it's sort of like the military in that way, but there's not the level of BS that there was
Right.
in the military. It's not the same. You don't have the red tape. You don't have all the, a gazillion regs that don't make sense. And to me, that's a big tip of the hat to Jake. And I think that's, part of his mentality being a Marine. It's, get
Yeah.
things done with make it as easy as you can. Not as
Yeah.
much red tape.
So, there's the old saying, keep it, or the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. So I came up with a shirt that will be coming out with same flag, same oath, which is this company here. It says Marine it down. And it sounds like what Jake has done with Team Rubicon is he marined it down. So I love it. I love it. So speaking of the Marine Corps, so he was a Marine Corps veteran, or he is a Marine Corps veteran. We have our core values: honor, courage, commitment. What are the core values for Team Rubicon?
Yeah, we have a whole bunch of them. So it's your mother's a donor, which is, let's make sure we're using the money that we get from all our donors well, that we're not wasting money, that we do things as cheaply as we can, but still do them right, taking care of our folks. It's don't be a dick, which is number one. And we handle that really well. It's if somebody's being a pain out in an operation, somebody that's one of in the leadership cadre is going to pull them aside and say, "Hey, come on, dude, let's not do this."
Right,
And sometimes we have people that think that they still hold the rank that they held in the military, and this is a very rankless organization. It's very down to earth, so that just doesn't play well.
right,
I've had to do that myself. I've had to pull somebody aside and say, "Hey, buddy, you aren't a colonel anymore.
right, right,
We're all the same rank now. We're all here for the same purpose." So that's a big one. Plus if somebody's not willing to get out there and really do their job, um, you know, sometimes we have to say, thanks, but no thanks. Maybe this isn't for you. Uh,
right.
oh God, what else? There's 7 of them. I'm trying to think of some of the others off the top of my head. I mean, most of them are really, and maybe Devin can help me out with those because he might have those in front of him. But those are the 2 that I really sort of hone in on.
So the two that I found, like when I was Googling, teamwork and collaboration. That's the two that I saw. And then there was the guiding principles. We had humanity, impartiality, neutrality, and independence are the ones that I saw.
Yeah.
So I love it. I love it.
Not to get a Marine to try to say big words.
I know, right? Those were some big words, man. I should have had my daughter down here. She probably could have read them a
They
little
barely
bit.
got past crayon.
I know, right?
By the way, I do want to say too, uh, so I grew up with a dad who's was a grunt.
Nice,
So I do speak Marine too. And at the school, I worked for a gunny. It was a joint service environment at the school. So
nice.
yeah, so I do speak a little Marine.
There you go. There you go. Well, with that being said, we're going to take a few minute break here and pay some bills per se. So if you're in the music industry out there, check out talenttalents.com or Louisville Local Entertainment. If you're looking for shirts, there's a veteran owned company, same flag, same oath.com. You can go there to visit. This shirt is from Same Flag, Same Oath. It's very comfortable and it's true to size. And then if you're looking for homes, check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions.
owner of Talon Talents here, and I just want to say that we are ecstatic to be a major sponsor of Homefront SitRep, a community that is ran by veterans and made for veterans. So thank you for tuning in. Talon Talents was formed in order to create a music scene that was together in the form of a collective, so that no one has to do everything on their own. And guess what? We've been doing this for free for over a year. So please go and check out Talon Talents through Facebook or through our official website at www.talontalents.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you again for tuning in to Homefront SitRep, a veteran-owned and operated podcast just for you.
My name's Rick Ames. I own Louisville Local Entertainment, a company for music shows, promotions, and bookings in the Louisville music scene. As a veteran, it's my honor to support and sponsor local veteran-owned businesses such as Homefront SitRep, made by veterans for veterans. So if you're in the music business and need some help booking or promoting a show for free, look me up. Louisville Local Entertainment. And thanks for tuning in to Homefront SitRep.
Gear up in style wearing Got Your Six apparel. Every purchase makes a difference. It's more than just clothing, it's a statement of gratitude. Upgrade without breaking the bank. Discover cost-effective, high-quality clothing made in the USA. Each shirt is handcrafted by our team in the great state of Texas and shipped for free to your front door. Got Your Six is where quality meets purpose. We're a small veteran-owned business that takes pride in the mission and the value of our products. Join us in growing a community, supporting our heroes, veterans, and first responders by wearing a custom design.
I thought you'd never ask.
Visit sameflagsameoath.com and use the code TRIPLETHREAT for 10% off. Follow us on all social media platforms for any upcoming releases or events, and you can reach out to us with questions anytime. We are here to support our brothers and sisters.
Hey guys, Mac Verdi here with Veteran Mortgage Solutions. As rates are dropping, home values are going to start to go up. It's time to start looking if you're looking to purchase a home. That being said, we are an all-military veteran loan officer team. We know the ins and outs of the VA home loan. We are considered the experts in this field. Give us a call today. Go to our website, veteranmortgagesolutions.com. Fill out my quick form. I'll give you $500 off towards closing costs. Have a great day.
And we are back. Yeah, so if you're out there, you're in the music industry, check out talontalents.com or Louisville Local Entertainment if you're here in the Kentuckiana area. If you're a veteran, you support veterans, check out sameflagsameoath.com. They have some co-branded shirts that go back and help different charities, veteran charities out there. So check those guys out, and then also check out Veteran Mortgage Solutions if you're looking to buy a house. Like he said, they're proficient in VA loans and stuff like that. So give them a shout and to check them out. So, all right, we are back. So, Mr. Kevin, so tell us what Team Rubicon stands for, like how Team Rubicon got its name. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. So when Jake and his buddies deployed, they flew into the Dominican Republic. And so they basically had to, thumb a ride, hike, hump it over into Haiti. And as they were crossing the river, they thought about the famous story about Caesar crossing the Rubicon and burning the boats. So it was the point of no return. And so that was when they all sort of realized, okay, we're going into essentially battle here in a way. This is the point of no return. And so they used that famous story about Caesar crossing the Rubicon as an analogy, and that's where it came from.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it. Because everybody's like, "Is that the Jeep company?" I was like, "No,
No.
it has nothing to do with the Jeep." Even though Rubicon, there is a Rubicon Jeep, but I was like, "No, it doesn't have anything to do with that." And then when I was looking at it earlier, when I was doing some research, it says the name Rubicon is from the phrase "crossing the Rubicon," an idiom to meaning passing a point of no return. So I thought that was pretty cool that's how they came up with the name using the story of Julius Caesar and stuff. So because I'm a little bit of a history nut anyway. I love history. My wife has a major in history and communications from the college that she went to. So we all love history in this house, and I love learning, about things. So, but enough about Team Rubicon. Other than asking you tell us some of your most favorite stories of some of the things that you've done with Team Rubicon.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to add quick as I kind of transition into that, one of the other principles we have is change your socks. Um, and that's sort of the notion that, don't get so involved with this that you don't take care of yourself. Because a big part of what the organization was founded to do too was to look after veterans as they transition out, realizing that everybody's affected differently by their experiences, especially the vets that were in combat or in life-threatening situations. So the organization is very, very focused on us taking care of each other. And so that's, on several of my first ops, just how much whoever was the team lead for the day would come out and check on us. Or, after you get back, you right away, you notify whoever was in charge. Yeah, I'm back, safe and sound, boots on the ground. The constant checking on you. How are you doing? Sort of mental health checks are really good. Yeah, the ops themselves, I've done a little bit of everything from, what we call swamping, when we cut down these trees and they all have to be pulled out and stacked, to mucking out basements, which is probably the hardest thing to do, to go into a flooded basement, especially when it's hot and there's a lot of
ventilation.
Yeah, there's no ventilation down there, and you're in a Tyvek suit, and it's tough work. But again, that's where they look after you. They limit the time you're down there. People are checking on you the whole time. But my favorite parts are when those homeowners come out to you after you've helped them in this situation, and they're in tears and they're hugging you. One of my favorite ones, we moved a vet. He was a Vietnam era vet, a Marine, had been a sniper. Really not in a very good situation anymore in terms of his mental health. And we helped move him from a place where he was, which was not a good place for anybody to be living, into a better facility, which he was happy about too. And his buddy that sort of helped facilitate this whole thing, at the end of the day, he was so emotional. And this guy was a Marine too, Vietnam era Marine. He couldn't even speak, and he didn't want to tear up, but just at the end of the day, he just pounded his chest and just pointed to us. And it happened to be everybody that was helping in this group, they were all ex-vets. And we all just knew exactly what that meant. We didn't have to say anything else, right? It was just that bond that we all share. And it was like, yeah, that those are the kind of things that really, that's what makes you come back.
Oh yeah.
And to be able to help another vet, especially who was so down on his luck. And as we all know, that group got treated so bad after they came back. I went in right after Nam, and even then, you go through an airport and people were still saying pretty unkind stuff to you.
Yeah.
Now people are much more appreciative to the military. I just feel like those men and women that served during that time really got kind of the short end of the stick. So
Oh,
for us is younger than that guy to be able to help those two guys, that meant everything. And that was really special.
yeah. So anytime I see a Vietnam vet, one of I go up and say thank you for your service, even though I'm not a big fan of saying thank you for your service because for me, I didn't do it for the thanks. I did it because it was something that was on my heart, something that I knew that from a very early on age that I was going in the military. I didn't know what branch, but I knew I was going to serve in the military. So for me, my thing when I go see a Vietnam vet or, well, pretty much a Vietnam vet, I'll go up and say, "Welcome home,"
Mm.
because they didn't get that, and I
I
teach
love
my
that.
I teach my daughters the same thing, and, like, they'll go up to a vet or a first responder, and they'll say, "Thank you for your service," because my daughters, they haven't served. Now they're planning on serving, but like I said earlier, I got one that wants to be, FBI. She's gonna go in the military, and then I have another one that wants to be a combat medic.
Mhm.
She wants to serve with Marines, so she'd probably have to go with Navy, which she don't really wanna go Navy. So I told her, I said, "Look, you can either go Navy or Army and become a combat medic." And then she wants to be a high school history teacher when she gets out of the military. So I'm like, "Bro, you're going from one fire to another fire being, a high school history teacher."
Yeah,
So,
no kidding.
and, it is what it is, and, you know, for me, when I got out of the Marine Corps in 2004 the second time, um, I felt like most veterans, I lost that sense of purpose. Like I didn't know what I was going to do with my life after that because my plan was to do 20 years in the Marine or in the military. So I was going to do my time in the Marine Corps, get out, go into the Army, and finish my 20 in the Army. Well, unfortunately, at that time is when the military was changing their policy on tattoos, and you couldn't have tattoos below your elbows. And I already had the big Grim Reaper that I have here, and they denied me. So I got two honorable discharges on my. I got two DD 214s, both honorable. The doctor who let me join the Marine Corps denied me from going into the Army, and it was I say there was some divine intervention in that because the wife that I have now, my current wife, if I had went into the army afterwards, me and her wouldn't be together today because she told me from day one, she goes, "If you go back in the military, I'm done with you." So I think there was some divine intervention in there as well, uh, but yeah, so tell us some crazy stories that you've seen while doing, deployments with Team Rubicon.
Yeah, I mean, the craziest things you see are just the amount of damage that Mother Nature can create is just absolutely unbelievable. I think the one that hit me the most was Fort Myers when it got hit by the hurricane 2 years ago. I go down there every spring anyway. I have a buddy who has a place down there. And so, get a little break from the cold weather, get a few swings in on the golf course. So I know the area really well. And so we got down there to see the devastation. And before I even got there, the first crew that was down there doing road clearance, we did a drone shot, and this drone was flying down Fort Myers Beach, and I'm like, I can pretty much name all the bars on Fort Myers Beach in that area. And I'm watching this drone go by and go, okay, that place is gone. That place is gone. And I mean,
Mm,
when I say gone, I mean gone.
yeah, there was nothing there.
There's just a cement slab that's left, and
Mm,
all of the structures in the bay behind us between the mainland and the island that makes up
mm,
Fort Myers Beach. And then you get there and you see it and you're like, oh my God.
yeah.
And I had one experience like that when I was in the Air Force. When I was stationed in Oklahoma, a F5 hit down in the Fort Sill area, and Altus Air Force Base. And we got down there. the next morning, because we were supposed to videotape the damage for assessment later for all the senior brass.
Right.
And this tornado rather had taken a C5 that was connected by cables into the runway, flipped it over on its back onto another C5.
Mm.
And you're just like, oh my God. I mean,
Yeah, if you've never been in one of those situations, our unit got deployed down to Homestead, Florida, after that Hurricane Andrew, and when we get off the airplane, we're like, holy shit, this is supposed to be the United States, it, the war pictures on TV and stuff it's exactly what you think of when you go to these places. They are so devastated.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you really, so I was just in Fort Myers in December. I went down, and I mean, it's still just devastated. I mean, it takes years to come back from these things. And, we keep going back as much as they want us to come back too. But it's just, that's the crazy thing. Just the unbelievable damage a tornado, a flood, or a hurricane can
Oh yeah.
do.
So we were down in Puerto Rico, and we were down there the first time before any hurricanes came through, and it was beautiful down there. And then we went back like 2 years later after a hurricane went through, and they were still, they were repairing and fixing things. And then we went back probably another year or two later, and there were still buildings that had tarps up on the roofs, and I can only imagine, um, you know, of course, I've seen, third world countries. I've seen Port-au-Prince, Haiti. I've seen Tunisia, Africa, and I see what, the people in those countries, how they live, and they don't have very much money, and for a hurricane to come through there and just to wipe it completely out. Because I know when I was in Port-au-Prince, Haiti in 1998, um, it wasn't it wasn't in bad shape because of hurricanes or anything. You had the civil riots and stuff that was going on, and it was in pretty bad shape then. And then the recent hurricane that just went through there and just devastated the place. It made it 100 times worse than it was. It's like, how do they survive? How do they come back from that when the government's not that strong in Haiti?
Mm.
There's, you got your warlord here that's, trying to gain territory or whatever. How do they come back from that?
Yeah, it just takes forever. I mean, even in the US, it takes, as I mentioned before with Florida, it takes a long time. I mean, we keep going back to Kentucky, to Tennessee,
Yeah.
time and time again, because a lot of the areas that we serve too are lower income areas, and a lot
Mhm.
of them are more rural, because they just don't have the infrastructure to help people in those communities. And so, yeah, those communities, when they get hit, it's just so much more devastating because a lot of them don't have the insurance coverage that they need to have, if they have insurance coverage at all.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, to watch somebody's, when you go to the front door and you say, "Hey, we can help you," we're this organization and we can help you. Well, what's it going to cost me?
Yeah.
It's not going
Yeah.
to cost you a thing. This is not going to cost you a penny. This is a bunch of people who are going to come in like the military comes in and just get it done and fix all this for you.
Right.
No, that's not possible. No. And we're like, yeah, for real. And then when they see it, they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you weren't kidding, because these people, a lot of them have had some tough breaks in life, and that's why they are in the situations they are. And, they don't have the most faith in other human beings. So, again, when those folks come up with a tear in their eye and they hug you and, God bless the military, God bless first responders, God bless people who care this much.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Well, I think you hit it hit the nail on the head there when you said that the people in these areas are very jaded when people come knocking on their door saying, "Hey, we're going to help." Because when there is a natural disaster like that, there's a lot of scammers that come that like flock to those areas. And I know with like Team Rubicon, you guys partner with like FEMA and the emergency medical units from each city that you go to or each area that you go to, um, and then for for me, doing this podcast and having you guys on from Team Rubicon, I hope it gets the word out a little bit more of what good you guys are doing throughout the world, because you don't just do it here locally. I mean, you guys go all over the place. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've had people in Central Europe now for ever since that conflict started, helping out on the periphery. A lot of our medical staff. So a lot of the people that go overseas are people who were military doctors, nurses, corpsmen. Um, that's kind of the greatest need overseas a lot of the time. Not so much the rebuild and the disaster response kind of stuff. Sometimes it is like Haiti, but yeah, I mean, it's whatever humanitarian needs are out there. We're there to help
so how often do you partner with like Red Cross and FEMA and stuff like that? How often do you partner with those guys?
all the time. Salvation Army, local churches, every sort of group that's out there. So one of the things too that I should mention, so we do all these big operations, but we also do a lot of stuff in our communities. So if you're a community leader, a metro leader, or a state leader, you're always looking for opportunities to do other things too. Habitat for Humanity is a big thing for us because it helps train our folks and rebuild. So it's a little extra free training. And then we can help our local communities too. I mean, we'll do food kitchens. We do Ronald McDonald houses. We do trail builds. We always try and stay active. And those things don't really cost a lot to do. It's just people's time. And a lot of our
Right.
retirees do that kind of stuff because it's during the week. Um, where the bigger ops people take time off or they're on the weekend. So folks that are still working can get out there. Um, so yeah, we do a lot of that kind of thing too, which is
No.
nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we have, Habitat for Humanity here. They have their own veterans unit that they have, and then um, if somebody wanted to find out who was like say a Team Rubicon point of contact for the state of Kentucky or Indiana, or whatever state they live in, how would they go about finding that point of contact?
Yeah, what's great is if you get on teamrubiconusa.org and you make contact, we have people that direct you to your local folks. So when
Nice.
somebody shows that interest and they want to sign up, um, we have membership people in each of the metros in the states that reach out directly to people who've just joined and help them guide them on their journey, get them hooked up with local leaders and make it really easy to transition in.
No, see, I love that, because there's a lot of organizations out there, veteran service organizations that, uh, like, say, if I'm volunteering for this organization, right, and I want to go help this organization over here because I see a need for my skill set or whatever. This organization over here is going to get upset that I'm going to
Mm.
go help this organization. So with like you guys at Team Rubicon, you guys. Not require, but you push your volunteers to go help other organizations
Mhm.
that can help build your what you guys are doing. Like you said, like working for Habitat for Humanity, rebuilding a home. That could come into play down in Fort Myers from helping rebuild houses down there. I love it, man. I'm definitely going to have to get involved.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's one of the really good examples of that was during when we were helping resettle a lot of our Afghan allies. A lot of those people they they worked for the military when we were over there, as interpreters or doing other things. So we really got all the other organizations in the country that help with that organized together. So Wisconsin was one of the big sites for that, because a lot of them went to Fort McCoy. And then as they started transitioning out into the cities, we built up a capacity in the cities too, to get them all the things they're going to need: food, diapers, formula, help them get resettled. And, all the different church organizations, all of the different state organizations, county we all work together really, really seamlessly. You asked earlier, that it just reminded me, I'll tell you a real quick story too. One of the coolest things I saw too, when I was up at Fort McCoy, because we were up there for quite a while helping these folks out, to have GIs see people that they served with over in Afghanistan, just bump into them like out of the blue, and the hugs and oh, how are you doing? So glad you got out safe. And that, and the other thing, so people were donating all kind of things, to see a little kid who's never even seen a bicycle to be given a bicycle and taught by a GI how to ride that bicycle. Man, that was cool.
No, I love it. Yeah, that is cool. What were you gonna say, James?
I said that would be cool just to see that.
Well, the kid, I watched this one little kid. He was hiding his bike in the woods up at Fort McCoy, and one of the MPs and I came up and said, why are you hiding your bike? I don't want anybody to steal it, and it's like, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Right.
There's policemen here. They're going to look after that. No one's going to take your bike. And, just, it's such a foreign concept to people who had lived in, sort of the Wild West that they had lived in. So that was cool to watch.
Yeah. And here in America, we take a lot of our civil liberties that we have for granted. Down in Haiti, the way that they live, it's 100 times different than what we have here, and it's just it blows my mind that the American people are so entitled nowadays.
Well, they think they are.
Yeah, they think they are. You would be correct. They do think they are, and for that little kid to be hiding his bike because he's afraid somebody's going to steal it, uh, that's how he grew up. That's all he knew back then. Because in Haiti, if you leave something uh, out, it's going to be gone. It's kind of like being in the military again. Gear adrift is a gift. It's one of those things, and it's just like it blows my mind, and I try to teach my daughters, to be very, very humble and to appreciate everything they got because, you know, children in Haiti, children in Africa, they don't have the liberties that they have here. It just blows my mind. So
Well, it's like when we did the Christmas thing when
yeah,
we all got together. I had my granddaughters there. I asked my daughter, I was like, look, I think this would be excellent for them for just that thing. And I talked to the girls. I said, look, have you heard of stories of children going to bed hungry? Yes. Have you heard about stories of children that wake up on Christmas and Santa Claus didn't come? Yes. That's why we're doing this. And they were all for it then. Oh yeah, we're going
yeah,
to help now. So it's involving the children, especially in situations like that, you're teaching them something that they'll never forget.
Yeah, we've actually had, what's fun is we'll have, some of these 18-year-olds who are now old enough to go out with Team Rubicon, their mom or their dad will bring them on and up. So it's generations of people doing it. And they weren't vets, but their parents were first responders. And so there's some really cool stories there too. We had a whole series done about Team Rubicon on Roku. They did a series on us, the folks that do this old house. And that was one of the stories they told, and a lot of stories by vets about how much the organization has meant to them and even saved their lives because they were really without that purpose after they got
yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, that leads to another question because there's a lot of like soup kitchens and stuff that are here locally. There's an age limit of how young or how old, or or not how old, but how young the children can be. Is there an age limit? I'm assuming there is. There's an age limit for Team Rubicon,
Yep.
but what is that age limit?
18.
You got to be 18 to
Mhm.
volunteer. All right.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I love
because so much of it there is, there are safety concerns.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say there has to be dangers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So let's say here in Kentucky, there's a tornado that comes through, and my daughters are 15 and 17, and I'm out volunteering with Team Rubicon. Can I bring them with me and just have them, like watch or observe, or how does that work?
Yeah, so like if it's a lot of our local events, yeah, family can come.
Okay.
So if we're working in a soup kitchen, we're working at a Ronald McDonald House, we're working at a lot of the veteran sort of events where we collect clothing or what. Absolutely, if it involves a full blown op with dangerous situations, that's when they have to be 18.
Yeah.
Nice,
Too many
nice.
hazards involved.
Exactly,
Yeah,
because yeah, it is, and you really, really have to be aware of what's going on around you in those situations because I mean, and we learn that as we go out. I mean, because of all the overhead things that are still out there, the overhead dangers, things that
the
can fall,
Widowmakers.
the widow makers. Exactly, that's what we teach them about. Things you can step on, things, not going into a house that's not,
Safe.
safe, that's not going to fall on you. I mean, we haven't lost anybody or had any really serious injuries in 13 years. And I think that's because we are so safety conscious. So that's a big part of it. And it's part of the insurance carrier thing
No,
too. But,
yeah, I kind
but
of figured.
yeah,
You got you got
but we do a lot of those local events where we do have the families come out, and that's cool too.
Yeah,
So
and firsthand, you get a city that's been devastated. Um, you're talking about the hazards. I've found this out myself when I was in Homestead. We went in one house and there was alligator in the basement.
Oh,
You know what I mean? So you
yeah,
hello.
got you got environmental hazards out there too, because snakes and spiders and everything else, they're displaced too, so they're everywhere. You have to pay attention to everything.
Hmm.
mm, mm. Well, Mr. Kevin, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. And then what I'm going to do, we're going to wrap up the show here, but I want to talk to you and Devin offline before we end the show.
Sure.
So once I end the stream, I'll come back and bring you two up on the stage so we can talk about some things behind the scenes. But I'm going to drop you off. Is there anything that you want to say before we let you go?
Not that I can think of. We've really covered kind of everything. You asked a lot of really great questions that I think we had a really nice conversation, and we really appreciate you giving us the time because the more we sort of get ourselves out there and get known, the more volunteers we get, the more donor dollars we get, and that
Nice,
means more people we can help. Both
nice.
Sure.
both our veterans who need that purpose and also the people in these communities that have had a really, really bad day.
Yeah, definitely. So one more thing, since you just brought it up, we didn't hit on it. If somebody wanted to donate or volunteer to Team Rubicon, where would they go?
Same site as if they want to volunteer, Team Rubicon USA.org.
Nice.
Everything is all on that site. And it's very,
Awesome.
very easy to navigate the site. Very, very well set up.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, my friend. Well, I'm gonna drop you off the screen. Me and James is gonna wrap up the show here, and then once we end the stream, I'll bring you and Devin back up.
All right. Thanks, brothers.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you,
a good one.
Kevin.
Man, how cool was that, James?
They're pretty damn awesome, brother.
Yeah, that was
All,
pretty. That was
yeah,
pretty cool.
all bullshit aside, it's pretty damn awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, looking at Team Rubicon for a while now, even well before I even started the podcast, and just seeing the things that they do, globally, not just locally here in the United States, but globally. It just blows my mind.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's awesome. They're awesome.
so I wanna share a video. Let me find the right one here. Um, this one I didn't play this one earlier, but I'm gonna play it here in just 1 second here. Um, hopefully the video comes through. So let's do this. And this is kind of where they're at. All right, let's do.
Oh, it's a big old tree.
We serve.
Mm-hmm.
What makes this work so hard? To sleep on the ground, get banged up and bruised, sweat soaked and sore. Let me ask you, how could we not?
Yeah, how can we not?
Omaha, Great Abaco, Houston, Sublette, Wyoming, Talkeetna, Alaska, Dondo, and Beera. These are not just places on the map for us. When disaster strikes, it strikes us, our neighbors, our communities. This is where we live. This is where we work. This is where we serve.
That thing just split in half.
I love it. Look at that devastation.
For the past 10 years, we've been there with grit and determination, knowing that whatever obstacle, whatever challenge, whatever Mother Nature throws at us, that together we can overcome. Why do we serve? Because together we can restore hope. Why do we serve? Because it's what we're built for.
Man, that right there is powerful.
Yes, sir.
Dude, just that right there when that lady in the house and she was crying and gave that big old hug. That's why we do what we do.
Yep.
And we talk about it all the time on the podcast, the reason why we do what we do. And you help one veteran today, that veteran's going to turn around and help somebody tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And that's why one of our mottos here at Homefront is one veteran at a time.
That's
I
right.
mean, I got tears in my eyes just because that video was so powerful. I mean, it really was. I mean, that's why we do what we do in the veteran community, and that's why we help each other. And we say it all the time, one veteran at a time. And then we also say that uh, if I ask James how he's doing today, and he's going to tell me I'm fine, but I can look in his eyes and tell he's not fine. So you need to ask that next hard question. How are you really doing? Because then James will probably open up and say, "Man, I'm not doing too good." So always, always, always ask that next hard question. So
Yep.
It's one of those things, and definitely check out Team Rubicon. I put the link to the website in the chat comments. So go check out Team Rubicon. Volunteer, donate, whatever you can do. Anything helps. Go check them out. They're doing amazing things at Team Rubicon globally, not just
Absolutely.
locally. So go check them out. And then, like I always say, stay safe out there. I got your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find Homefront SitRep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.